Hey everyone, it is the third Wednesday of the month, and that means it is time for my Commander on a Budget. This is a monthly series I do here on my channel where I bring you guys a budget build of a Commander deck, as the name might suggest to you. This month, I had a poll on Twitter asking people if they wanted me to build a Gisa and Geralf deck or an Ishkanah Graph Widow deck. Luckily, Gisa and Geralf won out. I think Ishkanah Graph Widow, which right now, as of recording, is about $13, would not have, that's just so much money just for the commander that it would be hard to build a decent budget deck with it. So luckily, Gisa and Geralf, who are about a ticket on Magic Online, are a much better deal. So I'm glad Gisa and Geralf won in the end. So this is a fairly straightforward tribal commander deck, though. We have Gisa and Geralf, from the new Eldritch Moon. 2 a blue and a black for a 4/4. When it enters battlefield, mills the top 4 cards of my library, and on each turn I can play a zombie card from my graveyard. So they fuel themselves by throwing stuff in the graveyard, and then they can, I can cast a zombie out of my graveyard every turn. So obviously this deck is just filled with zombies and zombie synergies because we want to maximize what Gisa and Geralf can bring back from my graveyard. And there's just tons of, throughout the history of Magic, there's tons of payoffs for going with zombies. So as usual, I have things divided into piles, based on what role the card has in the deck. Right here we have staples, basically. Our Skull Clamps, our mana rocks like Soul Ring, Cyclonic Rift, Trinket Mage to grab Soul Ring and Skull Clamp, Ashes to Ashes, just a great little budget card because it's a 2-for-1, and there's not many ways to exile things in black either, and it does it. Hero's Downfall for its flexibility. Commander's Fear, another mana rock. Grave Titan. It does also happen to have some zombie things going on, but it's a giant, so it can't be brought back from my graveyard. Profane Command, just super flexible and powerful. And Grave Betrayal, which is just crazy if you can get it online. So I have things divided here, like this first pile is all zombie payoffs, cards that want me to be playing as many zombies as possible. One of which is Compelling Deterrence. It makes my opponent discard a card if I control a zombie after bouncing their creature. Bone Knitter, which lets me regenerate zombies, including itself. Necromancer's Stockpile is sort of a zombie payoff. It gives me zombies. It's also fuels Gisa and Geralf. Being able to discard cards and then cast them with Gisa and Geralf is pretty awesome. Relentless Dead wants you to have zombies in your graveyard because you can bring them back, so it works well with Gisa and Geralf, and it itself is a zombie. Crypt Breaker, another new card from Eldritch Moon, turns your zombies into Phyrexian Arena effects, and this deck can really get a lot of zombies on the table and really draw a lot of cards when it wants to. Also, it works well with Gisa and Geralf because it can discard a zombie, get a 2/2 zombie, and then get the card back by casting it. Gravecrawler, which can already come back from my graveyard if I have a zombie, works well with sacrifice effects, discard effects. Diagraph Colossus, just gets huge, more zombies in my graveyard, and then every time I play a zombie gives me another zombie, so just a very good card. Unbreathing Horde just gets massive depending on how many zombies are in my graveyard and in play. Cemetery Reaper is one of the mini zombie lords in the deck, and it can also make zombies. Death Baron, another zombie lord who also gives them death touch. Lord of the Undead, another zombie lord who can also bring them back from the graveyard. Lich Lord of Unks can make zombie tokens and can also just instantly win the game in some situations if you have the mana available to pay for its second ability and just either mill or make your opponent lose enough life to die. Diagraph Captain, another zombie lord who himself has death touch and makes my opponents lose life every time a zombie dies. Zombie Master, kind of an obscure zombie lord, but the regeneration for all zombies and the swamp walk are both relevant, though the regenerate is more frequently useful. Drew Now Corpse Trawler makes a zombie token and it can give zombies death touch. Deathmark Prelate is in fact not a zombie, but it can turn any zombie I have in play into a kill spell, and then you can get them back with Gisa and Geralf. Grave Defiler, lets me look at the top 4 cards of my library and put all zombies revealed that way into my hand. Endless Ranks of the Dead just doubles the amount of zombies I have in play every turn, so that gets to be kind of ridiculous. Risen Executioner, another zombie lord who can come back from the graveyard. Door of Destinies is basically a staple in any tribal deck just because it makes things just ridiculous. By the end of most games, it has 8 or 9 counters on it, and your creatures, no matter what they are, even freaking Gravecrawler becomes a huge problem. Dark Salvation, a really sweet card for the deck, makes me a bunch of zombies and then kills something. Gravespawn Sovereign wants as many zombies in play as possible and can use them to steal cards from graveyard. creature cards. Jim Palm Polluter can deal damage equal to number of zombies. Works decently with Gisa and Geralf too. I mean, it's not the best thing to bring back because it has such a high converted mana cost. But, you know, it does put a card in your graveyard immediately while drawing you a card and draining your opponent. And then you can bring it back later if you want to. Corpse Harvester lets me turn any sacrificed creature into a zombie and a swamp, which is super good because, again, Gisa and Geralf can just bring back whatever I sacrificed. Noxious Ghoul can be pretty crazy if you're making enough zombies every turn, especially with Endless Ranks of the Dead. It's kind of a ridiculous combo, but it's a really good card in general for this deck. Then we have Cruel Revival, which is nice because it'll almost always get us a card back. Undead Warchief, the last of our zombie lords, who makes them bigger, +2/+1, which includes himself. I don't know why they didn't just put other zombies and make him a 3/3/2, but that's what they decided to do. Also make zombies cost less. Then we just have a pile here that's just like good zombies who don't really have zombie synergies other than being zombies. We have Stronghold Assassin, again a sacrifice effect, works well with Gisa and Geralf, can just kill things and it's a zombie itself. Undead Gladiator has cycling and then it can come back from my graveyard either with Gisa and Geralf or from his own ability. Geralf's Messenger is just, you know, a really abusive card. It's better in Constructed, of course, because you have less life. But if Gisa and Geralf can just keep bringing him back, that gets pretty ridiculous. Prized Amalgam likes it when cards come back from the graveyard, and we have a few ways of doing that, namely our commander, but also Gravecrawler. Withered Wretch is nice graveyard hate, and it's, you know, a 2-mana 2/2. Geralf's Mind Crusher mills more cards, and it's just a decent body that needs 2 kill spells to kill it. Coffin Queen can steal cards from graveyards. Fleshbag Marauder is really abusive to bring back with Gisa and Geralf. You can just do it every turn, sacrifice your Marauder, and so forth. Nantuko Husk works well. You know, it's a zombie in general, and sacrificing things and then bringing them back is nice. Also can just make the game really difficult for the opponent if we have 7 or 8 zombie tokens in play. Forgotten Creation is a really great card in this deck because I can just bin all the cards in my hand, say they're all zombies, for example, and they're basically still in my hand if I have Gisa and Geralf in play, and then just draw more cards. Liliana's Reaver is just, you know, a solid 4-mana 4/3 who has the Spectre ability of making my opponent discard a card, but also gives me a 2/2 black zombie token. Geralf's Masterpiece is nice because it can come back on its own and it just can be a huge creature. Possessed Skob is nice, can bring cards back from my graveyard and not just creatures like most black cards, it's because it's blue-black. Vengeful Pharaoh's nice. If you throw it in the graveyard, it just turns into a kill spell. Sidisi Undead Vizier is a great card for any black deck, but it also happens to be a zombie, so I put it here. It's basically a staple in black, though, because it's a tutor. Phyrexian Delver is nice, can bring creature cards back from my graveyard. I do lose life equal to the converted mana cost. Grey Merchant of Asphodel, you've noticed, most of our cards are actually black and not blue, so sometimes it can just drain massive amounts of life. Drakestown Forgotten just gets big, depending on how many cards are in graveyards, and then can turn the counters on it into -1/-1. Jesse and Zombies is nice because it can fix my mana for me, and then I can play it later if I want to from my graveyard. Helldozer is nice because people play tons of non-basics, and if you have enough lands, but black mana, obviously, you can really just decimate their mana base. Even if you're just blowing up 1 a turn, it's pretty sweet. Newscraft Mob, another new card from Eldritch Moon that's nice just because, you know, it's a 6-mana 6/6, and every time a spell gets played, puts another zombie in play. There's lots of nice combos, you know, lots of reasons we want to have as many zombies in play as possible, and that allows it. So that's the deck. I will play 3 games with it now, as I always do. So if you found this video useful, don't forget to like it, and if you have any comments about the deck or anything like that, you can post them below. And if you want to make sure that you catch Commander on a Budget every month, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.